Alright guys, good afternoon and welcome to another technical analysis update, and today is the 20th of July 2022 and it's just coming up to 4 p.m. here in the UK. Well, it's 15:45 here in the UK. So I'll just do the usual checks, make sure that the mic is working, mic's working, video's working, so we're all good. So I'll crack straight on. Basically the cryptocurrency markets are pretty much all in the green, very few exceptions. The great majority of it is in the green. Nothing exciting. It's only like a few that are up like 7%, or there's none in the double digits anyway. But Bitcoin and Ethereum notably at a month's high. For the stock market, it's a bit of a mixed bag. The great majority of it is neutral, as you can see in grey. There's a few in the red and a few in the green, so nothing really exciting to write home about. In terms of the calendar today and for the rest of this week, we have a European Central Bank press conference and a monetary policy statement. Now this could be potentially, we've got some coming out tomorrow as well, but sorry, this is for tomorrow actually, it's not for today. This is the CPI for today. Today is Wednesday, I keep getting my days mixed up. So for tomorrow we've got the monetary policy statement and refinancing rate. We've got a press conference regarding the European Central Bank and what they're going to do with the interest rates. So obviously the euro is looking very weak. They want to raise the interest rates, and they announced already a 25 basis points, or a 0.25%. 25 basis points is what is expected, although it is very clear that it's not enough to curb inflation and to curb the weakness of the euro. So the expectation is 25 basis points. If anything higher than that is announced, so they're already intending to announce that for September, for the September meeting. But if they announce, for example, that they want to raise by 50 basis points or 100 basis points, that will cause volatility in the market to the downside, okay? Because what is expected and what the market's priced in is around about 25-30 basis points, okay? So a 0.25%. So again, pay attention to this. This is not as it's perhaps not as important as to crypto as the Federal Reserve interest rates hikes, but this could definitely cause some volatility tomorrow, and this is happening well, just after lunchtime, so around about 1:45 p.m. here in the UK. All right, so that's basically it in terms of the Federal Reserve. There is nothing to be announced. Next week is a big week for the Federal Reserve, but I'll do another TA update before then, and I will sort of cover that in more detail. But I just wanted to highlight for tomorrow, the Eurozone, the European Central Bank, is going to make a few announcements as well, so that could cause volatility to the market. Okay, so where does that leave us in terms of the markets? So if we look at the S&P, we start here with the weekly chart, and you can see that basically we'd been struggling to get above this. Oh, just taking the magnet off. This area here, basically around about 3,900 points. This is the value area low of 2021 VWAP, so we're back inside of the value. We've just broken inside it there, okay? So obviously we'd been hovering at resistance for quite some time, and like I said on the last TA update, when you hover like this at resistance, it's likely that we break up. For me, that's not a change in market structure. Yes, it is bullish, but it's not a change in market structure, especially as we are still below this value area low of the developing years VWAP, okay, for the 2022, okay? This is proven to be resistance, okay? It's caused resistance a couple of times already. And so getting above that would be imperative. Now, also, as you will notice, there's a low volume area here between 4,000 points and 4,100 points, or 4,060 points or something like that, right? Which has perfect confluence with this level here, which is the value area low of 2022, of course, right? So even if we do go all the way up here, and we find that this is resistance, it's very likely that we roll over, at least on first tap. This is a high probability trade for a short, okay, and I think a lot of the traders will be looking at that for a short position. Okay, so inherently what's going to happen is that even if we do carry on going up, then Bitcoin will be dragged with it. But let's not forget that we are basically on the edge of a high volume cluster here. You can argue that it's a double distribution there, but it is resistance until proven otherwise. And because we haven't tapped it yet, it's likely to be a high probability trade. Okay, so we're a little bit closer to resistance. We're a little bit closer, around about 4,000 points, but the level I'm looking at really is around about 4,060 points to be accurate, okay? And the change in market structure, of course, would be breaking these highs here, okay? So basically targeting the 2022 VWAP here at 4,300 points, all right? So if this does something like this, gets inside the value area of the developing year, of the current year, and then goes all the way up there, then it's going to be a lot more bullish for everything, because as you can see, that's a break in market structure, and this is basically a high, so a high, a lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low yet again, and this could be just a bear market rally to test that, right? So unless we break that market structure there is no change in the trend, if that makes any sense, at least not on the higher time frames. Looking at the daily chart here, you can see that basically we have taken out these previous highs, so we are printing kind of like higher lows and a higher high here. But again, on the higher time frames, this is the high that you want to be looking at, really. Round about 4,200 points is really where you want to be going, round about here. Okay, as you can expect here, there's a low volume node, so this is likely to cause resistance. This is likely to cause resistance here as well. Note how this is the previous quarterly VWAP close, right? That's untapped. So and if you're just trading price action, you will notice that there's a little bit of supply here, right? So this whole consolidation here, which is could be considered as temporary support, and it's been largely untapped as resistance. Okay, so all confluent to round about 4,100 points there. Okay, so that's, you know, we're a little bit away from it, but this, you know, we're getting closer now. All right, so we are getting close to resistance. On a positive note, however, we are back inside. This is, I'm looking on the top left here, on the higher time frame. We're back inside the value area low of the 2021 VWAP. We're also back inside the previous quarter's value area low. And if you will notice, we're above the previous monthly VWAP close. And of course, the developing VWAP, right? And we're also above the value area high of the current week's VWAP. Okay, so we're above all of the VWAPs, the daily, the weekly. So there's the daily there in green, there's the weekly there, there's the monthly, and there's the quarterly there as well, which is pretty much the same as the monthly because we're still in the same first month of the quarter. And so, you know, it is bullish, and of course this is why the price is rallying, right? And you can see now, even now on a 30-minute chart, you can see here on the S&P, price is rallying. It wants to reach higher for that 4,000 points, right? But we are getting close to resistance. Now, the confluent levels that I'd be looking for here, like we were saying, we were talking about 4,000 points, right? 4,090 points, something like that. Note how this is on the top right-hand corner. I'm going to put a little line there, right? The previous quarterly VWAP there has perfect confluence with the value area high of the developing month. Right here, okay? So that's definitely something to keep an eye on. And of course, this has perfect confluence. If you look at the line here on the left, on the weekly chart, the line that I just drew in the other charts is this one here, right? And it has perfect confluence, or at least very close confluence, with the lower edge of this high volume cluster. So for me, that's undoubtedly resistance there, okay? In terms of support, of course, that we want to see the previous week. So we want to see this value area low hold as support. Of course, if we actually go all the way up here, get rejected, come all the way back down, and this doesn't hold, then that means that we're accepted back inside of this value here, and we are likely to go all the way back down and print new lows. Okay, so it's very much the same scenario for Bitcoin, but I just thought I'd highlight that this here is kind of the line in the sand now. We've broken that resistance. It should be confirmed as support, and so we want to stay above 3,900 points, even if we do go higher here. Okay, so if we go higher, come back down to 3,900 points, this should act as support. All right, and that would be definitely a kind of a beginning of a change in trend, right, where we've printed a higher high, well, not higher than this one, but we've broken some highs here, we've printed some higher lows here, and now we've printed yet another higher low, which would probably propel us to break this market structure finally. Okay, but there's no change in market structure just yet. We want to see what happens at this low volume area. Okay, so that's basically the S&P. I hope that is clear. We want to look at 3,900 points for support, and we're looking at around about 4,100 points for resistance. Now on Bitcoin, we start with the higher time frames. As you can see here, and this is important, right? As you can see here, we have broken above these highs here. We printed a couple of a double top there, right? So we printed a couple of highs. Now we've broken above it, and it does look like we are on our way to run about 28,500, which is the edge of this high volume cluster, right? So more or less the same thing that I was talking to you about on the S&P. Now, the problem we've got here is that we've got a very low volume area just above us, right? Now, this whole thing here was a low volume area as well, okay, so on the way to 24k, but the price you will see on the shorter time frames is kind of like, it's not really just pumped massively. It's not like here, which is a larger liquid move. It's kind of just compressing above, right? I don't like this type of price action personally, but anyway, I don't want to fade it either. So like I said, we are very close to resistance here. This is we're just kind of like pushing and pushing and pushing into resistance, and this low volume node kind of finishes at around about 25k, which is basically where this little cluster happens there, around about 26k actually. 25k is the low volume node. But I wanted to highlight something here, okay? It's something that is very, very apparent here on Bitcoin, right? And I've pointed this out before. Sometimes we put some highs, we take out the highs, and then we dump nonetheless, just like we did here in that top, right? Same thing here. Put in some highs, come back down, take out the highs, and then dump in the original direction, right? Same thing here. There was a top there, we took out the highs, and then continued downwards, right? Look at this. 3 attempts at these highs. 1, 2, 3. Come all the way back down. Take out the highs. Get everybody excited, right? Failed to get above the previous year's VWAP. And then it dumped all the way down. Okay. So, also here, right? We had, let me put this on the daily. It'll be a little bit more visible here. So we had some highs here, and the price goes and takes those highs and then dumps, right? This is systematic. It just happens all the time, right? Okay, so you know, especially here, it's very visible. We had a range highs, we took out the range highs here, everybody got very bullish. We came back, we did confirm it as support, baited a few more people, and then as soon as we got accepted back inside the value, it kind of went all the way down again. All right, so basically what I'm trying to highlight here is that even though the price looks very, very bullish here, it could be nothing more than just taking out the previous highs here before the next dump. All right, now I hate to be the bearer of bad news or whatever. I'm just as anybody else. I want the price to go to 28,500, but the market does not give a fuck what I want or what you want. So you just have to keep things in mind, okay? So again, if we find resistance at 25k, right, and then the price fails and starts retracing back and falls back below these previous highs here, which is around about $22,000, then I think we're going to go much lower. However, I would like to see a pullback all the way to $22,000 in order to go fucking long, because I don't like longing at resistance here. So I'd like to see that pullback, and that will be crucial. But do you see what I mean? These are highs. We've taken out the highs now. So when we get a pullback, if we get a pullback in the next couple of days, you're going to have to pay very close attention to these previous highs, to this previous level of resistance, and see if it turns into support. Because if it doesn't hold, right, then it's going to be just like every other time that it's done it, that it just baits everybody long, gets everybody to buy in, and then we just fucking dump. All right, so just pay attention to that. Now, on a more positive note, we are above all of the VWAPs, the monthly, the quarterly, the weekly, and the daily, right? We've been bouncing on the daily all day today, right? We are above the value area high of the weekly. We are also above the value area high of the quarterly and the monthly. So we've had a significant push up, right? We are currently, as you can see here on the 4-hour chart, this is a monthly VWAP here in red. We are currently testing this level here, which is basically the previous month's VWAP close. Okay, so this is basically the June VWAP close, which is around about $24,180, and that's exactly where we are right now. Okay, we're testing that. This could be potentially a level to watch for resistance. Okay, if we break above this, okay, and confirm that this is indeed support and we're okay to go up, then potentially we could go all the way to 28,500 like I've been talking about for so long, right? But we want to watch out for these fake outs, okay? Because like I said, you know, on a pullback here, right, I'd love to see a pullback all the way at least to around about $22,000, 21,800, round about here to this previous range high, right? If we get all the way down here and we reject this range here with a strong bounce, then I'm going long, right? However, if there's no rejection, if we get acceptance below it, right, and then retesting that edge, we see that now that is resistance yet again, and the price starts rolling over, then these prices here will be the next targets, and I'm not going to be looking for longs there, right? The only time I'll be looking for long is way down here. These are just merely take profits because they're in the middle of the range, right? So I doubt very much that the price, and this is like, you know, nothing is absolute in trading, but I doubt very much that if the price got back inside this range again, it would come all the way down here to the point of control and then back up again. I just don't see that happening. When we get accepted back into a value area, what tends to happen is that we test both sides of it. Okay, so that means going all the way back down to around about 29,600. Sorry, 19,600. Okay, not 20. So 19,600 is definitely a level that I'll be interested in going long, but potentially I'll be interested in going long here at 22k as well on a pullback. Okay, and this one is really the line in the sand, 22k. If we stay above here and we pull back like this and we stay above here and we start curling up, then this could potentially be the launch pad, if you like, the stepping stone for us to get to 28,500. So we'll just have to wait and see. At the moment, like I said, I'm very reluctant on going long at these highs. Okay, we've just been going higher and higher and higher with no severe pullbacks. There's, you know, the market likes to punish late comers, right? So everybody that's going long, and I'll show you that on Exocharts, everybody that's going long right now has not had any severe punishment since 22k, and we're currently at around about $24,200. So, you know, it's very strange that we've not had a significant pullback for quite some time. But like I said, we're looking at the S&P, and on the S&P, like I showed you, the price is rallying, right? So here at least you get like pullbacks. It goes up and it goes down, and we get little pullbacks, as you can see here on this. Sorry, I was drawing on this chart here. See what I mean? We get little pullbacks here, right? So market rallied up, little pullback, rallied up, pullback, rallied up, pullback. We're not seeing that on Bitcoin here, and I'm looking at the 4-hour chart. I mean, yes, there was a little pullback here, and here, but now that we've broken above 22k, and once we broke above that daily level that we've been watching, and the weekly level, it's just been going up only. And I just don't trust it. And on top of that, it's not just a large liquid candle either, which I'd be quite happy to short it here, right? It's not a large liquid candle, it's a very slow moving compressing candle, and group of candles even. And I just don't like this price action to fade, right? I don't want to go against it. I don't want to short it just yet. Okay, if I see a large impulse, for example, like this, and it goes all the way up there, then I'm happy to go short here and to put a tight stop on and manage my risk and bet on this kind of retracing the whole thing. But we're not seeing that. So my caution tells me that we're overdue a pullback, right? And like I said, I'll be looking at around about 22k for a long. But if we get accepted below that, if we get accepted below 22k, then I'll be definitely going short on the retest here, and I'll be taking profits at this point of control here at 20,500, and I'll be closing my short. I'll be probably leaving some open, but I'd be considering closing the whole position and going long here at 19,600. Now, I hope that is clear. I'll move on to Exocharts just to show what I'm talking about, why I'm talking about those levels at 19,700. And I'll put here, we start here with the weekly volume profile. Now, on the weekly volume profile, it's very clear that we've got a couple of naked points of control, especially the one that we've just left behind just last week, okay? And surprise, surprise, $19,700, okay? So that's basically this point of control here, right? So we've left one there around about 19,600, 19,700. Yes, we are rallying. We rallied above these highs. We're getting above all of this consolidation of the previous candle here, right? and above it is just thin air, right? There is nothing there. So we could definitely rally here all the way to 28,500. And it's okay. It's not a problem. I'll probably miss out on that, or I'll probably get in with a trailing stop or something like that. But we've got a point of control around about $30,000. Okay, but this is a previous level of support here, which has been untapped as resistance. And you can see here on the left hand side, I've got a volume profile here. So you can see here that's the edge of a high volume cluster there, right, which is basically periods of consolidation, right? So this level here is basically right about 28,500 is definitely a level that I'd be interested in shorting. Okay, so and we could perhaps even go all the way up there, tap that naked point of control, and then come all the way back down. But you know, so like I said, we could rally here. Absolutely nothing is certain in trading, right? But I'm just not keen in going long here. I'd much rather see a pullback, and I want to see either these previous weekly highs at 22k holding, or at least I'll be going short all the way to $19,600, $19,700, where I'll be potentially going long. Okay, then I'll have to look at the order flow and see what happens there. So naked point of control at 19,700 and another one at 30k on the weekly volume profile. On the daily volume profile, the picture is very much the same here. We've taken out the higher point of control here, and you can see how accurately we do these, right? They've all been taken out, and this one was the last one, and now we've taken it, and it does seem like the price is struggling to get above it, unsurprisingly, right? So now this is what is it, $23,700. We've taken that, but look at that one sticking out like a sore thumb down here at 19,700. That's a naked point of control that I'd be definitely interested in taking, but I don't want to be repeating myself. That's basically I just doubt that this whole move like this, right, this whole move here, it's not been stopped out. We've not seen any fake downs or sort of like, you know, it just seems very, very strange to me. So I'm expecting a pullback at any point, at some point, but it's definitely make or break time here for Bitcoin. We either make it all the way to 28,500 or we break down, and then we'll have to look at 22k for that line in the sand. On the market profile, I'm looking here on a sort of like on a zoomed out version of it. You can see that there was a naked point of control here that we've just taken it, the same one that I just shown you on the volume profile, right? We've got a couple of daily VWAP closes that have been untapped at around about $24,400, and the other one at $24,200. Okay. In fact, I think I need to reload this chart because we've already tapped 24,200 and it's not updated it. So I do apologize for that. So let me just check. Well, I guess in the meantime I could look at here on the footprint and just show you what I'd be looking for. It's back. I'll do the footprint in just a second. Right. So we've taken out this naked point of control, and now we've got that VWAP close that's been tapped, right? So the daily VWAP close is finally tapped, and we've got another one just above at 24,400, right? This is basically like the make or break line right here, right? If we break above 24,400, it's so thin in terms of volume. I'm pretty sure that we could just go all the way up to 27,400, 28,500, something like that. That level that I was talking about, previous level of support. I think we've got a clear rally to go all the way up there, and it'll probably accelerate very, very quickly there. Okay, so you have to keep that in mind, right? So where do you short this? How the fuck do you short this when it's basically just going up and up and up and up? So I'm just going to highlight a few things here to the downside. We've left a poor low behind us, right? We've also got the weekly VWAP here, and the daily VWAP close here from the previous day, from yesterday, is untapped, right? We've got some single prints here, and we've also got a sequence of poor lows all the way down to $20,200. Okay, so we've got naked points of control here, VWAP closes, and again that infamous naked point of control at around about 19,700. Now, for me, of course, like I said already to you guys, right, I'm looking at 22k for a level to hold, right? So it could come all the way to this naked point of control here, this time-based naked point of control. You can see that there's a high negative delta there, right, of everybody that got short, right, and the price rallied, so they're trapped. So if the price comes down there, it could definitely be support, there. So that's what kind of like one level that I'm looking at, 21.8 to 22,000, something like that, right? But of course, if we break down from there, then we'll be taking all of these naked points of control, all of those poor lows, and potentially even the poor low that we've left all the way down here and at 17,000, even though it's inconceivable at the moment. But so going back to where what we were talking about, you've now got some resistance levels. You know that we're basically above 24,500. We could just basically just fucking shoot all the way up to 27,500, 28,000. So it's a dangerous short. And the only way that you should be shorting this really is by looking at the order flow. Now, what do I look for in order flow terms? I look at the footprint and I just look for these candles, right? So let me just take all of this crap off because I want you to just focus on basically just these candles, right? So what we're looking for, and I've put I usually don't have the candles, I usually just have the footprint, I just have the delta profiles like that, but I'll put the delta candle there just for effect, right? Just so that you understand it better. Can you see how at these highs here, basically we tap the highs, it's got a negative delta here, right? So I'm going to put the T size and the footprint basic statistics, right? So we've tapped a high there. Look at how the majority of the concentration of the volume, of the buy volume, is above the candle. It's basically in the wick, right? So as soon as you see this, right, that means these guys got trapped. The candle goes down, right? And all those apes got trapped up there, right? So of course the market goes down, comes all the way back up again. A few more get trapped up there, right? So there's these guys, and these guys get trapped, and the price comes down again. Okay, this is a signal for a short. And then basically, this is what you have to look for in terms of order flow. And then basically the opposite is true. On the downside, you can see here, right? So the price is going up. Let me make this a little bit thicker so that you guys can see here. So price is going up, comes back down, high, comes back down. When it comes down, it goes back to the previous level as well, right? And it traps, look at all this negative delta here. It traps all of those guys there, right? And the candle finishes in a positive delta there. So it's a blue candle, so like a green candle if you like, and the majority of the sellers are trapped below that. And of course the market rallies, gets all the way to the top there. Then you've got a red candle with negative delta basically, a positive delta with a negative candle there. And of course the market comes back down again. And you basically don't have to close the short until you see exactly the same happening again, which is basically happening here. Here we are. We have a blue candle or a green candle if you like with a long wick, and just underneath it or just inside it, you've got the great majority of sellers trapped, right? We saw it here yet again. Basically, the great majority of the volume down here are sellers, and they're trapped underneath, right? So, and then the market just rallies, right? And it rallies, and it basically does exactly the same thing again until, and you don't have to go short again, until you see the same thing again. When a candle at the top, we print a new high, and the great majority of the buyers are at the top of that candle, and the candle comes down. So it comes all the way back down again. It does the same shit again. At the bottom, everybody's selling. So then we go higher, and then we get higher here, and the price is compressing. See what I mean about the compression? Now everybody's buying at the top there. Comes back down, but it's not a big dump, right? And the price compresses and prints a new high here, and it starts getting less and less clear. This was very clear here. Then it starts getting less and less clear, right? So I don't see any more trapped shorts here at the bottom of the candles. I don't see, there's a little bit there, trapped longs there, but I'm not seeing any yet. So basically this is the signal that I'm waiting for. I want to see a liquid candle, basically something printing a new high here, right? Something that goes high like this, right? And then it comes down very, very quickly, and it just forms the candle all the way down here somewhere, right? So the candle is here, but on this wick, the great majority of it will be blue delta, will basically be all the buyers, right, with a large buy volume at the top. then I'll be going short. Okay, and of course you can see that, like, you know, the great majority of the time you do have some decent trades doing that, but the price is just compressing. We're not seeing these massive extensions anymore, where we saw buyers getting trapped at the top, comes all the way back down. I mean, this was like, what was it, $23,800, came all the way back down to $22,900, so nearly $1,000 move, right? Now we're not seeing that. We're seeing like literally a couple of $100 moves here, right? So I'm not very keen on doing that. It's just not, it's not quite there. So we have to exercise patience. So that's basically what I'm looking for. The signal for a short position would be something like that, right? On the higher time frame, footprint here, you can see that there's, you know, the great majority of the volume, there's plenty of volume here, but the great majority of the volume is getting absorbed and kind of like washed around, right? So you've got a load of shorts opening here. A lot of them just close straight away within like sort of like within an hour, right? And then basically all these longs that opened and not being, and they're still kind of all the way up here, right? So this long opened, all these guys that opened came all the way back down. Out of the 8.3 million, only 5.5 million closed, right? So here there was 8.3 million open, and they closed basically on the next rotation. The rotation didn't even move that much, right? So basically staying within a $200 move, a $200 range. For me, that's just shit. I don't want to be trading that, right? Again, on the higher time frame kind of like scenario, I'm not really seeing anything significant here until we see that sort of long, larger liquid move to the upside and see guys getting trapped at the top, right? So that's basically your short signal. I'll give you the signals for resistance. Around about 24,400 is the level that I'm watching at the moment. We could just snap straight above that and go all the way to 28k, but if the price does something like that, it goes, for example, make it a little bit smaller just to illustrate it yet again, comes all the way down here, something like that, prints a long wick, gets all the way back up again, a lot of trapped shorts at the bottom. That's a long position, right? So, and then he goes all the way up here, and if it's a larger liquid move and the wick leaves behind a lot of guys trapped here at the top, that's a short position. And that's basically all you've got to do. But of course, you know, it's just small moves at the moment, but one of these will be right, and one of these will be the one that catches the big trade, right? So you just have to keep doing that if you're watching the charts, and that's basically it, really. I don't have anything else for Bitcoin. I'm just trying to sort of like put things into perspective. At the moment, it's just chop. I'm just very reluctant to going long here, and I've not seen any large move to the upside to make me want to go short just yet. Okay, so just tiny little moves for today anyway. So I hope that is clear. With that out of the way, I think I'll move on to Ethereum. So let's just context value here. Let's move on to Ethereum versus USD. If the chart would load, please. Thank you very much. Ethereum versus USD. So we start here on the weekly. This is a daily. Let me put this on the weekly chart here. And take the balance areas off. Right. So you can see how very close we are to the value area low of 2021 and the 2022 as well. Okay, the developing value area low, right? In terms of balance areas, if you don't know what I'm talking about, these rectangles basically are just outlining these high volume clusters, right? So there's basically the edges are usually resistance or support, depending on where we are in price, and those tend to act as resistance and support when we tap them, right? So we have actually left this balance area here on Ethereum, and we've entered a new balance area, which is basically anything above $1,540, right? So we've entered this balance area here, the purple zone, if you like. Right now we do have a little bit of resistance, like I said, the value area low of 2021 and 2022 that's converging here. We've also got the point of control of this whole fucking range here, right, at around about $1,800, $1,790. So again, we're very close to resistance. Now the question will be, at this level here, around about $1,800, if we do find resistance there and we come back down again, will we find support, just like on Bitcoin, will we find support around about here, $1,400, $1,500? Okay, now if we find support there and the price curls up, then I'm happy to go long, and I'll be targeting the other side of balance. That's basically telling you that we've just been accepted inside of this, right? Same situation for the 22K level on Bitcoin, right? So if we're getting accepted inside of here, we basically, that means that we start rotating in here, somewhere between $1,500 and $2,000. Okay, that's acceptance inside of this range here. For that, like I said, we need to hold $1,500, $1,400 as support. Okay, that was previous resistance, now should hold as support. If we look at this on the lower time frames, I'm going to take the balance areas off just to become a little bit clearer. Right, the same thing applies in terms of the VWAPs. Okay, we are above all of the VWAPs. We're above the quarterly, the monthly, the weekly, and the daily VWAP. The only VWAP that we're not above is the yearly VWAP, right? Which is all the way up here, $2,500 to $2,450, right? So that's basically the only VWAP that we're not above, right? And this is the ultimate barometer as well in terms of the bull market, bear market scenario, right? So, but regardless of that, all of the lower time frame VWAPs are now behind us, right? So in terms of bullishness, then yeah, of course, that's very, very bullish. You can see here on Ethereum on the 4-hour chart, this is again the monthly VWAP, and I'm just going to close this volume just so there's less noise. You can see that we've reached the value area high of the previous month's VWAP, right? So this is resistance, right? $1,600, right? This is of course going to be resistance. We could go even a little bit higher. You can see that right about $1,750 is where the previous level of support was. So we could definitely sort of go a little bit higher there, but you know, we're approaching those levels of resistance. Now, what we want to see holding as support is round about this level here. Right, if the price comes all the way back down here, right, this basically the value area high of the monthly wants to hold as support. Okay, if we get below this level around about $1,400, $1,300, then we're basically back inside of this range, right? And that's no good. And again, it'll be the same scenario as Bitcoin, where if that's the case, right, so here you'll be looking for a short, nice long wick like this, get everybody that's trapped at the top there. It falls back inside the range, retests the high there of the range, right? It could even go a little bit higher like this, right, to take out some stops, and then it curls over and starts rolling over, right? So will this hold as support? If it doesn't hold as support and falls back inside of the range here, we have to watch for the next retrace. When it goes back up, if it starts rolling over, then we want to be looking at basically this previous range high here, which is around about $1,280. That's the first target. And that's the monthly VWAP there as well, right? So $1,300, $1,280. If that doesn't hold either, then I don't want to be going long there, really. You'd be looking really round about these lows for a long position, right? I just want to see this kind of like value area low retested again, right? To be rotational back inside it. Of course, we might not get that. This is what I want. And like I said at the beginning of this video, the market doesn't give a fuck what we want, right? So again, if we bounce here, that's definitely a long position here, right? If we go a little bit lower, then it gets a little bit trickier, right? Because, of course, we could just be testing the higher the range, and we could bounce there. Of course, it's a monthly VWAP there as well, right? But it starts getting a little bit trickier if Ethereum goes all the way back down there again, okay? So that's the only difference with Bitcoin. We are accepted back inside the value area low of the previous quarter VWAP, right? And we are at the resistance here, or the value area high of the previous month VWAP, right? In terms of the levels of support here on the lower time frames, we can have a look at this, right? So I've got a daily VWAP here. I've got the weekly VWAP around about $1,520, and I've got a VWAP close that is untapped right there, right? At around about $1,470, right? Which has perfect confluence with the value area low of the weekly. Now, volume is increasing here on Ethereum, just like, in fact, it's a little bit more than we've seen on Bitcoin, to be honest. But, you know, at these levels here, then I want to see the price have a decent bounce, okay? If not, then we want to look, like I said, at this range high area, around about $1,380. Okay, just because, you know, even here $1,300, but this is a range here, right? So we formed a little range there. If we get accepted back inside of that range, then it's likely that we're going to test both sides of it. Now if we're on below the bottom of this range, now that's becoming resistance. So you see how it becomes tricky, right? These are all balance areas. So that's why I want to see a bounce around about $1,380, because there's not really been much of a range here. It's kind of just compressing upwards like that. I do think that all of this price action will be taken out soon, right? All of these stops, everybody that was going long, right? All the ones that went long from down here, they probably took profit here already, right? Now, those guys, even if they've got some of the position open, they're not going to get stopped out, okay? They're the smart ones. They're the ones that got in nice and early. But when you try and get in late on the market, right, the market tends to punish you. Now, yes, we have bounced here on the weekly view app a number of times, right? And until we've lost that, there's no change in market structure. You can argue that this is a little range here. And of course, if we get accepted back below there, we're going to go to this low here, right? And then we'll just have to wait and see if we can carry on printing lows or whatever, right? But I want to see a bounce round about here, $1,450, or at the very latest, round about here for $1,300 or $1,350 for Ethereum, and no lower than that. Okay, any lower than that, then I will be shorting any retest that we go higher, right? So if the price starts going back up again, for me, this level here around about $1,500 will be now resistance, right? And I'll be looking for shorts up there. It's as complex as that. I tried to simplify that, but I end up making more complicated. But I hope you understand what I'm saying. We had a nice impulse, we had a range, we had impulse, but there's no range. We're just kind of going up here. We're not testing the previous lows. This makes me nervous. Okay, so I'd be definitely looking at this range high here as a potential level of support around about $1,400, as especially because it has confluence with all of these levels here, right? So like I was saying, where is the $1,400 level? It's because I've taken, there we go. There's a low volume area here, $1,400, right? And now, like I said, we've got a little bit of consolidation there, a range going on here, right? Which you see that volume profile there, right? This level here. Now, of course, if the price comes all the way down here, then I expect a bounce. But if it gets accepted back inside of this range, right, back inside of this volume profile, then I expect it to go to both sides of it. And then, of course, we'll be testing, sorry, the mouse is playing up. Then we'll be testing $1,280, $1,300 right there. Okay, and that's basically the line in the sand here for Ethereum, because that was a long consolidation. That was a previous high that's not been tested as previous resistance that's not been tested as support, right? So a significant pullback on Bitcoin would and could definitely bring Ethereum all the way back down to $1,300. Okay, but that's basically the line in the sand there. If we get accepted below here, then you're really looking at basically at $1,000 again for Ethereum. All right, so I hope that makes it clear. I'm sorry if I fumbled that and if I was a little bit sort of ass about face trying to explain it, but I hope that kind of clarifies where you'd be wanting to go long and where you want to be going short. Now, in terms of the market profile that I can see here, we've left a naked point of control below it. We've got lots of single prints below it as well, and some pull lows, and we've left a number of naked points of control here, especially around about here, $1,080, right? We've got time-based point controls here, $1,100, and another one at around about $1,200. But like I said, these single prints here are basically important. We could come and fill those up, right? So if this holds as support here, then great. But you can see that the large delta is basically much below. Large delta here, there's large delta here, around about $1,200. Large negative delta here as well, at round about $1,460, right? So we want to see the price, like I said, not get below that $1,400, basically, right? We just want to see sort of like a nice little pullback here, come all the way, take out these naked point of control, maybe even fake it all the way down and go to around about $1,380, bounce on these single prints or even fill the single prints, and then just bounce there, right? Because if we start getting accepted below there, then we've got these single prints to fill, we've got that naked point of control there to fill, and we've got a shitload of anomalies all the way down with poor lows and naked points of control below. So in terms of the levels to the heart, to the top side, you can see here I've put a rectangle there ages and ages ago, and we're getting very close to that. Now we've kind of tapped into these single prints, which is this blue rectangle that you can see here, and we've got another single print above there, and we've got $1,740 there as a previous level. And I'm going to remove that. I'm going to put it on again so that you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm looking at these levels here of support, right? So $1,720 is definitely going to be resistance, and we're very, very close. So do you see why I'm reluctant to go long at these highs? Because we're now approaching, especially here on Ethereum, we're approaching previous levels of consolidation, right? So I think that, you know, now it's looking really for shorts, in my personal opinion. Of course, Ethereum can get dragged up with Bitcoin, and if Bitcoin goes up and goes to $28,500, then we could definitely smash above this and go all the way to $1,930, and maybe even go to take out this naked point of control at $2,000, right? But you know, that's a little bit far-fetched considering that we've not had a significant pullback. I've seen stranger things. This is crypto. Stranger things have happened, but you know, I expect a little pullback, especially if Bitcoin has a pullback too. I think Ethereum will curl up and go all the way back down to around about these levels, $1,300, $1,400, something like that. Okay, so that is it for Ethereum versus USD. Let's have a look at Ethereum versus BTC. Now, Ethereum BTC. Wow, okay, so I'm going to start. Let's just delete some of these brush marks. Now this is very, very interesting. I'm going to take some of these horizontal lines. I'm going to leave the horizontal lines off. I'm just going to mute them like this. Alright, so like I said to you guys on Monday, I think it was, this level here is a very important level of resistance. Okay, I highlighted that there was a previous trend line there, right, that's converging with the yearly VWAP, and it's also very close to the to this low volume node here, right? The market, you know, Ethereum, to be fair, looks very, very strong compared to Bitcoin here, right? We kind of rallied all the way up from where we were. We went straight past that low volume node here, 64,000 sats, right? We broke this previous consolidation. This is a previous level of support here. We broke above it, and we tested the value area high of the 2021 VWAP. Look at that, to the dollar, right? So the yearly VWAP, we couldn't close above the previous value area high, and we couldn't close above the current year's VWAP, right? So this is definitely resistance. That's a damn strong rejection here, right? If I look at this on the daily, you can see that's a pretty strong rejection there. Okay, so now levels of support here for Ethereum versus USD, sorry, Ethereum versus BTC, I'll be looking at around about 64,000 sats. 64,000 sats, because not only is this low volume area in line, it's also the value area low of the developing year's VWAP, as you can see here, right? That's the value area high there, that's the yearly VWAP here, and this is the value area low, highlighted in blue for your convenience. Okay, so we want to see on Ethereum BTC, even if it has a pullback all the way to $1,400, it doesn't matter, because if the pullback on Bitcoin is just as big or more dramatic, then this will hold for sure. And Ethereum is most definitely outperforming Bitcoin here, okay? But we have tested a key level of resistance. So now we're looking for key levels of support. And for me, this one here is a key level of support. Note how it's also previous level of resistance before we broke down. Right, so that 74,000 sats is a level to watch for support, and then if we break down below that and we retrace this whole larger liquid move, then we could find ourselves all the way back down here around about 59,000 sats. Now, if I put back those lines of resistance and support, we'll see if we've got anything matching that. And we've definitely got one there. And this one here, I'm going to highlight it there. Okay, so that's basically the levels of support that I see here on Ethereum versus BTC, and the levels of resistance, like I said, are these red lines that I put on last week, just to sort of for illustration purposes, so that you guys see what's going on here. You can see, like, from the whole, for this whole range, from basically from April, May 2021, right, the point of control, which is here, right about 70,000 sats, is basically where the price is stopped. Right, so that's not a coincidence. However, it does look like we've been accepted inside of this range here. So let me just take those horizontal lines off yet again. Right? Yes, as long as we stay above this level here, which is around about 64,000 sats, as long as we stay above that, that means that we've been accepted back inside of this range. That's what acceptance looks like. It's basically smashing straight through it, go all the way to the point of control, come all the way back down to the value area low, and it confirms that in fact it gets rejected there. It confirms that in fact that is now support. If that's the case, then I think we're going to go retest this point of control again, and potentially all the way to 77,000 sats for Ethereum. Okay, and basically just do something like this. All right, so fairly bullish for Ethereum versus BTC here, but this is a key level that we need to hold as support. All right, and again, like I said, levels of resistance, like I said, I've already highlighted this one and this one here as the key levels of resistance if we do smash above it. So I will have another technical analysis update for you guys on Friday. On Friday, I will also do all the DeFi coins in the photo trading pairs. I don't think, and I don't see the need of doing that on a Wednesday at the moment, just because everything's kind of a little bit repetitive, doing it 3 times a week. So I thought I'd do it in this format, where on Wednesdays I just do Bitcoin and Ethereum and covering a little bit of the S&P. And I hope this helps you stay on the right side of the market, and keep on the right side of the markets. So yeah, like I said, just keep an eye out for Bitcoin. Just have a look at that nice large wick, sort of blow off top like this, nice large wick to the upside. If we see that and then the market kind of retraces that straight away, that's a signal for a short, and you want to be like something like that, and then the market comes all the way back down again, right? Then that's definitely a signal for a short, and you want to be going lower. So that's all I've got for now. I hope it was useful. I hope it's helpful. I will have another TA update for you guys on Friday. So in the meantime, take care and trade smart. Bye bye.